Nobody watches it. I mean, it's a piece of paper that represents, it's on the table here, it's a dead piece of paper. If I put it in the wall and you come and watch it, the minute you start to watch the image, it makes sense. It's like in the fairy tales, you know, just a kiss and she wakes up. No, just a look, and the photographs start to exist. So we need people looking at them carefully. Well, most of the time they just go like a but some people slow down. Maybe 1 of 10 pictures will capture their mind, and they may remember it later. So what I try to do also is questioning in snapshots that I do a lot. And I was yesterday at the Millennium Garden, Millennium
Park,
that incredible shiny sculpture of Agnes.
Oh yeah, Agnes.
It's incredible. You know it because you're from here. But I discovered the fact that people look at themselves and they do a selfie, and it's so confusing because they look at themselves in the mirror, which is a mirror which brings the whole city, plus them, plus the. I was totally excited by that because it's very interesting. And I was watching people. Most of them, they love to touch and they become double, you know. And then they go back and they do a selfie. But in the selfie, they have themselves doing the selfie because it's so much glossy and reflecting everything. I was fascinated. I spent half an hour impressed and saying, this is the question. What do we see? What do we see of ourselves? So that thing that it's interesting because it happens. You don't have to tell them what to do. Something is happening there while they approach their own image and the image of their neighbors.
So in your work, you've done a lot of portraiture of yourself and included yourself, Agnes on the beach, and there's a few self-portraits here. How do you think about that? You and the work. Is it about you in the end, or is it about something else?
Even though I'm heavy, I feel like a little feather in the wind. I feel that sometimes, again, whatever I look like, I feel like a bird going from one branch to another tree, then resting in a nest, and I have the feeling that I should not do only one thing at one place. I should always, in my mind, travel, discover, investigate, question, and enjoying that so much the discovery can be made every day. So meeting a person who has a beautiful face or a strange face, and then just one face can question the whole world. I'm so impressed that from very small to very big, it's the same questioning. That's why the modest potatoes for me make a lot of sense, because then you could question big problems. We know that there are huge problems in our society, and in Europe, you don't see that here, but in Europe, that incredible wave of migrants, which became incredibly big and, pathetic in the last 10 years, and in the last 2 years, now people arrive from nowhere, they're lost in the world. And we are questioning one image, we are questioning one piece, we are questioning your art, the thing you did in the cafe of the Smart Museum, a big thing. And then in that I could see some anxiety, I could see beautiful colors to give you joy, then I could see things hanging like a torture, it's this piece of wood being tortured. And I could see this lamp coming out of the wall, different light with very aggressive pieces of wood, of metal. So in everything you have, the pleasure and the drama the drama of the shape. But these woods, they look like, comment ça s'appelle quand on est écartelé? In the French history, we had a king, Henri IV, and Henri IV was famous because he wanted everybody in the world, in France, very poor France, they say they should have every Sunday a chicken in the pot with vegetable. His dream was that every French person could eat on Sunday. So he was very loved, even though he was a very difficult king. And one guy came and killed him with a knife. So that was, the man who killed him was called Ravaillac. And when we learned that at school, the punishment of Ravaillac, that he was in the middle of the place, lying on the floor, and they take these two arms and the two legs with horses who, I don't know how you call that, écartelés.
Quartered.
And you see, this is something that I learned at school. And I tell you, some images of suffering, I mean, remain in your mind, because we had, I don't even know if there were images, but they told us that he has been punished because he killed the king. But you see your piece of wood hanging in the smart cafe. I felt it écartelé like this. And I say, you, coming back to images of my youth, that's the way we do with whatever we see. We have our own reference, some memories of images, some memory of emotion that you bring yourself to your look, and nobody sees the same thing. You know, I saw that because I remember Ravaillac. That's why I'm telling you. But very tiny things of our life as a child, as an adult, as a lover, as a wife or widow, whatever I have in my life, I bring all that in my way of looking at things.
Yes.
Like everybody does, even for a film, you know. You see the film, but you don't see exactly the same film because your own culture, your age, your culture, your country, I don't know, your personal experience make you see things differently. So I'm trying to always use some common denominator, can you say that?
Yes, common denominator.
Common denominator, in which everybody will not miss the thing. And then side down, trails are different ways. But in some film I try to have spots where there will be no misunderstanding. You know, the classical thing, on a trail, on a dock, somebody leaves, and somebody is on the dock, and looking at the people leaving and crying. This is a simple, typical image. Everybody understands it the same. The departure, the pain, or the separation, whatever it is. So there are, I could name you 20 images like this that everybody understands the same way, wherever you go, whatever is the culture. But then I have my way of telling that is not understood in Russia. Even for vagabond, they say, she dies with that little cold. In our country, we wait for 40 degrees under zero to die. So they said she was difficult, she was, you know, like, so it's interesting because people understand differently. And as I say, countries, culture, language, the way you have been raised, what has been told to you. So that's so interesting that if we can find common denominators, if we can find them, so you get some steps of the film that you don't lose your audience. And for the rest, sometimes I try personal things. I say, who will understand? Who knows? So I guess your own way of doing collage and inventing your own disorder that makes sense for you, that is a personal order for you, has to be shared with people who come with their own experience. And they say, one of your pieces, I say, oh, what a disorder. Why did she put in a little plate all these things that I would throw away? But then you made it, so it makes sense for you. So the second step of looking at, okay, that's what she believes should be in that plate. Then I become your friend because I say, oh, I'm the friend of that woman who has put this there for other reason. So the mystery of art and understanding art and understanding films is something important for us because that's what we need. We need people to follow what we do and maybe to misunderstand it. It's part of the game. No?
Yeah, I guess I think that there's lots of misunderstanding. But in my work, I think that I rely on the things that we do understand as coherent and cohesive between us. So the architecture, geometry, the things you recognize are shared. It's a shared understanding. If I use a light post, we all understand it to be a light post. The things that happen between the light post and the other things next to it, a lamp post, like yes, the aggressive metal that you referred to. Yeah. So in my work, the stability that you're talking about, the shared sameness, is in the mundane quality of the things. And there is an idiosyncratic thing that I do that I think's about me, but I don't think it's so unique to me. I mean, I think it's rare that any of us are truly idiosyncratic. Our thoughts, the structure of our thinking, the way we live and see the world is embedded in a shared world. But I'm interested in trying to make sense of that, the space between that, the thing that feels very alone and personal, and the thing that's quite shared. So that's an issue for me too. One of the things that I appreciate in your work is that there's a feeling in the work of a real immediate directness. There's a feeling of earthiness, might be one word amongst many, not the earthiness of the earth. Something potatoes, farms, trees, there's often trees. For me, I come at your work and really appreciate that, and I'm drawn in by it. And at the same time, there's a self-consciousness about that you often explore. And I experience that when you have still images in the moving film, and when you show the means, like in the gallery here, we have the little clip of the boat in the pond, and the process of making, you have the Catherine Deneuve and the other actor, and you're showing the process of making the film there.
Again, because it's not a film, it's interesting because I've been always impressed by snapshots. And even yesterday at the Millennium, you know, I grabbed some people I didn't know, and I will never meet again. And one was doing a snapshot, and nearby was a beautiful woman standing, and I grabbed them, and now I take them home. I don't know them. So it's, yeah, well, it happens all the time. So the snapshot questions me all the time. Who is she, who is he, what you do? So in the gallery there is a photo I made once I was on a terrace. I was being sent to document a big new building that Le Corbusier had made in 1955. So a magazine sent me to make a picture of the building and inside. So I went up to the terrace because they said on the terrace there is a kid. On the terrace there is a kindergarten, a place you can do gym, a little. Oh.
Sorry.
Like a little stage. So I say, I'll have to go and see that. I arrive on the terrace, that's a beauty of snapshot, back. And then years later, all the time I say, who were these people? Did they have a connection to each other? Did they meet for some reason? So years later, 20 years later, I said, okay, what about inventing what brought these people together here? Because my question about every image, what is before, what is after? From where do they come? Where do they go? When they sit here, suddenly they do this. So where are they going? So you see it in the gallery. I invented a film of 4 minutes in which I dress people looking like the same. Dress with sport, the man has a dark costume, another one has hat. I asked people, non-actors, to come with me. I said, let's play what could have happened. So I decided it was 2 families, they were meeting because something. So that was a couple parents of the girl, a couple parents of the boy, and he had to do a little meeting, etc. And the mother said, I'd like to take a picture, and they said, okay, let's move. And at the point, after 3 minutes, in the little film, she takes exactly the picture, which is the picture I had as a snapshot. And I even continue, and I say, the father said, I want to be in the picture, and he comes. So it's a game. It's a game that you can play with whatever you see, which has been captured by chance. You can question, what are they doing, these people? Do they know each other? Were they happy to meet, or maybe they were angry at each other? So I think my imagination is always building with mistakes, I'm sure. What I see in faces, I say, oh, maybe that just happened to them. And okay, so it's again that a simple image is what it is, but we can play with it, you know, what I'm trying to do. So it's not a science fiction, it's just saying everything is a mystery, and the people I shot yesterday at the Millennium, some of them were a little couple, maybe they were mad at each other, you know, and they were kids, okay, let's reconcile, let's do a picture together. And the minute after, they fought and they beat each other. I mean, you know. And then maybe they were in good peace and everybody was in good mood. So it's because life is like this. Comment dire un manège? Yes, a carousel. And you know, you jump on the horse or you sit in the train or you stand and you wait and there is joy because the children love it. But in a way, they go out and they're disappointed. They want another one, another two. So our life is made of frustration, desire, meeting, surprises, and I try to capture all that and make it something that becomes what I do. So I'm very related to people. Then I try to set them in special situation, special landscape, or choosing the tune, not only the color, but the tune of what I try to tell. I made a very sad film called Documentaire. The English title is An Emotion Picture. So I try to bring a lot of emotion in a very quiet film. Lasts 1 hour. And some people went and said, wow, how did you get that feeling? I don't even know how I got it. And then I made other films, as you know, and that tell different things really. And questioning the morality, like the film Le Bonheur, questioning the time. So Cleo, from 5 to 7, you say that it's time, but the time, I played with the time.